Hello, everyone. I'm currently here in Bali, Indonesia, and I'm currently in this beautiful villa right now in attending a singles women's retreat in Bali, Indonesia. And right now, it just makes me want to think about my single sisters right now because the Lord is calling you to thrive. He is calling you to live a life of abundance, live a life of more than you can ever think or imagine. Not just when you get married, but right now in this season of singleness. And especially here that we are surrounded by this beautiful field and experiencing God's harvest. And it makes me want to think about Ruth, the story of Ruth, and how she was so focused in being in the field and gathering that she was not focused on a man or trying to find a man. No, it was she was focused on providing for Naomi. And Boaz noticed her. Boaz noticed her when she was in the field, when she was gathering, and he asked about her, like, who is she? And it makes me want to think about how so many women feel so stuck in their single season and not walking in obedience in the field that God is calling you to plow, to harvest, to gather the harvest because the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. So my challenge is, where is God calling you? What field He is calling you right now in this season to be able to pursue what the Lord is calling you to do in your assignment, and not just for my single sisters, but also for all the women that were going to be watching this video. What is God calling you right now that you are delaying from saying yes to the Lord? And what field the Lord has been speaking to you in dreams and visions in your heart and your quiet time, your secret place? But there's this setback, there's delay, there's this self sabotage that is not allowing you to say yes and go into the field that God is calling you. And like I said, we are in Bali, Indonesia, and here we just see greenery, we see harvest, we see fruits, we see how beautiful this place is. And it's so encouraging because I'm here with other single ladies that came to this retreat successfully single to experience God in a new way. To experience God in such a deep way, to know that they're whole and complete, and to go dive deeper into their inner healing and what the Lord wants to speak to our hearts in this time, that He wants us to completely surrender. Because yes, the harvest is plentiful, but there are certain things in your heart that needs to be unplugged. There's certain things that needs to be cut off, because there are some branches in your life that are not producing any fruit that God wants to cut. And yes, it's going to be painful. Yes, it's going to be a grieving process, because when you let go of the familiar, there is a grieving process, because you thought that was part of your identity, that was part of who you are. And it's not. What matters is what God says who you are. You are His masterpiece. You are fearfully, wonderfully made. And you have been silent for too long. And it's time for you to be unlocked. And just as Ruth left the familiar. She left her gods. She left her family to go where Naomi was. To say, wherever you go, I go. Wherever you stay, I stay. So this is the time to really seek God. And what are some things in your heart? What are some things, some weeds, some lies, some deceptions that you have been holding on to, that it's not of God, it's not based on truth, but you just base it on your trauma experiences, and it's not true because of what happened to you in that toxic relationship, that man that was not emotionally available for you, that you fell into this relationship because you felt approved, you felt you're wanted and seen, and you longing for this affection, but then ended up into this man that was emotionally available and it was a fraud. And how many times are you going through this cycle? How many times you need to go through this cycle around this mountain over and over again? That it seems like it's a hamster wheel. It seems like Like, when is this going to be done? Like, I'm tired. I'm tired of surviving. I'm tired of going through the same thing over and over again. I'm tired of falling for the same type of men. Like, what is going on? That's where God wants to break the cycle and really dive deep on these lies and deceptions, that it's time to plug it out, because God is doing a new thing. And it makes me reflect about that we're almost halfway of the year. We're almost in mid-May, and almost towards the end of May, and we're entering into June. The last 6 months of the year. Last 6 months of the year 2025. Like, where did the time go? How has this past 6 months have been for you? Let's sit down and reflect about that, because what have you spoken or written down in the beginning of the year that you have not even started making moves and taking action? All you have doing is self-sabotaging yourself. What are some visions and dreams that you have written in your journal that you're going to do this in this year and all that, but whenever you try, it's like you feel that you can't do it. You self-sabotage, you procrastinate. You say, I'll do it tomorrow, the next week, I'll do this next month, I'm too busy. Making excuses without even knowing that you're actually self-sabotaging yourself. And it's time to break that cycle. And I've been there, girl. I've been there on that self-sabotage cycle of going through that cycle of fear of failing, fear of starting, fear of success, that it made me feel stuck and stagnant for so long. But the Lord delivered me from that. And now I'm leading other women to be unlocked. And a single woman to be able to thrive and live a life of abundance and luxury, because God wants you to live well. He does not want you to live in lack. He does not want you to live in poverty. He wants you to live in abundance and also embrace your womanhood. And that's my heart and my passion, is to help women to break free from that masculinity position and be able to heal their femininity, their softness, their grace, because you don't have to protect yourself, girl. God is your protector. And because you were hurt as a woman, now you're trying to act like a man, push and anger and passive aggressive. And when a man, a good man, a God that approaches and pursues you, then you feel like you're not worthy of that, because you're so used to the toxic behavior, toxic quote unquote love that is not truly love. And God wants to break those lies, those inner vows of unworthiness, that you're not good enough, to be able to embrace the truth of what God says who you are. He wants to make all things new, take you to the field, take you to the promised land that is filled with milk and honey. And that's the beautiful thing about God, that He embraces us to be able to come and commune with Him, and to know how to partner with Him, and know how to have that covenant with Jesus first before we have that covenant with a husband. So that is my mission, that is my heart, to walk with women in their single season and even married, to be able to walk and embrace their femininity, to be unlocked, to unlock their voices and walk in their purpose and their calling, and break that toxic relationship cycle, not just in relationship, but also in friendships, also in families. Let's talk about that. Even in siblings relationship. And I will love to walk with you, be that spiritual midwife, to help you give birth to those promises and visions that God has placed inside of you. That only you can birth it, nobody else, because He gave you the vision to you, nobody else. So this is time to cultivate this season and say to yourself, these last 6 months of 2025, I'm not going to end it the same way it started. I'm done procrastinating. I'm done putting myself last. I'm done not investing in myself. I'm done putting everybody else first, pouring into others, but putting myself last. Like, this is your time to be able to embrace and know you are worthy to be invested in. You are worthy to walk in the God's calling, and not just cheering for others, but also God wants to cheer you up as well. I believe that this is the time for you to be able to unlock and walk in the acceleration season that He has for you, and walk in that field, that harvest that He has for you, and say, no more. The time is now. So if you are wanting a Kingdom Life coach, I love to be able to walk with you in this time of inner healing and deliverance and breaking these toxic patterns in relationships. In this time, my information will be down below on the link in the description box. And I pray that the Lord will just bless you and keep you, and that the roof in you will be awakened to be able to walk in the field that God has for you in this season. I love you, tribe, and I will see you on the next video.